Welcome to episode number 64 of the Meditation Podcast. You can find all our episodes on meditationpodcast.org. We're also on Facebook, meditationpodcast.org. I also have the Awakening Podcast, the Learn Polish Podcast, the Crypto Podcast, and the Speaking Podcast, and all can be found on mycall.com. Today, we've got Lodro Rinzler back with a meditation titled R.A.I.N. You've got other meditations from Lodro on episode 54 and 59, and I also did an interview with him on episode number 53. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. This podcast is sponsored by Kulabula, creators of websites, animation, and digital art. To get a 10% discount, go to kulabula.com and put in the discount code meditation.
Hi there, my name is Lodro Rinzler. It's a pleasure to be leading you through this practice of working with strong emotions. When it comes to working with anxiety, we need as many tools on our proverbial tool belt as possible. So I'm going to introduce you to the practice of R.A.I.N. Now, R.A.I.N is a technique that was developed by the Buddhist teacher Michelle McDonald, and I found it instrumental in tackling strong forms of emotions that have come up for me over the years. Different words have been used over time to apply to the acronym, but commonly R.A.I.N stands for Recognize, Accept, Investigate, and Non-Identification. So I'm going to lead us through this four-step process right now. We can start by getting into the body. So taking whatever good meditation posture you might normally take, grounding down through your feet if you're in a chair, sitting with your legs loosely crossed, or kneeling if you're on a cushion. And then when you're ready, lifting up through the spine, extending upwards, allowing all the muscles in the shoulders and in the back to begin to relax. We can place our palms down on the thighs, an inch or two away from the kneecaps. Letting the head rest perfectly balanced at the top of the spine, chin slightly tucked in, relaxing the muscles in the face. Now relax into feeling the breath. Just doing some shamatha, calm abiding meditation here, being present to each in-breath and out-breath as they move through you. No need to do anything about the breath, no need to fix anything here. Just breathe and know that you're breathing. We'll move into the formal R.A.I.N practice at this point. If you pick this meditation, I'm guessing there's already some form of emotion that might be bubbling up for you. So let's begin by just working with the R, recognizing the emotions that are present today. You could even place a name on the emotion if you would like, such as frustration, sadness, joy, excitement. If there are no strong emotions right now, you could even ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? And notice what comes up. Here we are not judging these emotions as good or bad. We're simply recognizing the emotional landscape that's present today. So just take a moment here to recognize whatever emotions are present. It could be one, it could be many. Now we can begin to move into the A of R.A.I.N, which is that we allow for or accept the emotions. Simply allow yourself space to feel what you feel. There will be tendencies to distract yourself, tamp the emotions down, act out on them. But here we are being rigorously non-corrective. We just hold our seat and give ourselves time and space for the emotions to exist without having to do anything about them. This is not a deeply intellectual attitude, it's more of an intuitive awareness, trusting yourself to the extent you can be with your emotions. So, dropping the stories that might arise, we just allow ourselves the time space to feel what we feel without judgment. There might even be a moment where you notice that you're starting to wake up to more of who you are. You're no longer trying to escape from yourself and the emotion, so you might even notice some more relaxation arises. At this stage, we can move into the eye of rain. Sometimes this is considered interest. Often the eye in rain invites us to take an interest in and get curious about our emotional state. There are a number of ways to do this, but one simple method would be to ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to show me? Or alternatively, you could ask yourself, is there some valid communication arising out of this emotion? The tricky aspect here is that you may be tempted to engage your thinking mind and problem solve around scenarios spinning out of this emotion. Here we're trying to stay curious about the emotion itself, not the story spiraling out of it. Another method to employ the investigation of our emotions is to look at it through more analytical lens, examining the very nature of the feeling itself. So we can ask ourselves, where did this emotion come from? Where was it born? Does it have a color, a shape, a size? A texture, or even a temperature? Where does the emotion go when I am not actively experiencing it? Where does it live then? Will the emotion always be here? Sometimes, through investigating the very nature of the emotion, we may realize it's not as solid and permanent as it might originally appear, and that it is, in fact, a thought with a lot of energy behind it. so it will rise and dissolve when given the time to do so. The final step here is the N, non-identification, having acknowledged the emotion, given it space to breathe and express itself, and then having investigated it, you can gently thank it for what it has taught you and no longer identify with it. In this step, we're recognizing that we are not the emotions we carry. They are a part of us, but not even a permanent part of us. They come and they go. So one way to do this is to begin to connect to our sense perceptions, expanding our awareness to include the environment. Noticing the sights, the sounds, the smells, everything else that's happening right under our noses that we can appreciate, as opposed to keeping blinders on and just looking at the emotion. So take a moment here to explore your environment, or if you prefer, you could take 3 deep breaths in through your nose, out through the mouth to transition you out of your practice. Thank you for doing this practice with me. I hope it's been helpful and that we get to practice again together very soon.